The bongs, brunch, and brilliance. The most unofficial SXSWXR event where art, cannabis, music, and Web3 collide. Join us at Lazy Daze on March 11 at 11/11/11 for glass blow masterpieces, mouth-watering brunch, and mind-expanding conversations. Pull up, light up, and level up. Pull up, light up, and level up.
Welcome to Texas Hemp Stock 2025, the ultimate fusion of advocacy, sustainability, and celebration.
This Memorial Day weekend, experience an electrifying event featuring 3 music stages, legendary speakers, and hands-on workshops showcasing the power of hemp.
Become a part of the experience. Secure early bird tickets now or register as a vendor to showcase your products at Texas Hemp Stock. Enjoy a weekend of fun for all ages. On-site camping options are available with spaces for tents, RVs, and full hookups so you can fully immerse yourself in the hemp stock experience. Join the movement at Texas Music River Ranch. Memorial Day weekend, May 24th through the 25th, 2025. Texas Hemp Stock. The future is now.
Big rips, big cough, 420 for 20% off. Bongfather's got the stash, 420 for 20% off. Make it last. Hand blown glass, it's so clean. Special K Glass.net, live the dream.
SXSWXR 2025 AI Augmented reality 3D is spatial capturing. SXSWXR 2025 AI Augmented realities 3D is spatial capturing.
The bongs, brunch, and brilliance. The most unofficial SXSWXR event where art, cannabis, music, and Web3 collide.
Let's give our little shout outs real quick. And then let's tell the story about how we got here. Yeah, absolutely. Crazy. So first, Gavin, I want to thank you for joining us. Mind-blowing, eye-opening, mind-expanding.
Well, I see you. I heard you were going to go all the way out here by yourself and try to make contact.
Yeah.
So you're saying, he's not going to.
Yeah.
Took some need to get in there.
It would have been a bit of a lonely trip, I think.
Totally. We'd have half this in your
I've seen a lot of friends. It's been a well planned. A lot of activities.
Oh yeah.
A lot time on the road, and there's a lot of opportunities that wouldn't have been there if you didn't join us. Thank you, thank you. No problem. Yeah. We need to thank Hex for running this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we are live in Metaverse right now.
Live.
Yeah. We're here
On top.
We're in reality, but we're also in reality live.
And which is a real nice way of us embracing technology.
Yeah, it's cool. It's this AR. It's cool. Use a lot too.
I think I'm excited to tell the story and lead up to that. Like, I think in the end, we'll talk a little more about that. But the beginning of our story, doesn't really start with that. Real quick before we get started, also need to thank Michael from Metaverse. For inviting us down here and making this.
Yeah.
How about this spot here?
Lazy Daze is there's very few places where you can go where you can get baked and have a school where there's like live music performers and tons of new action always happens. I mean, this place is a hotspot for the stoner community.
Yeah, it's popping right now, and it's like a modern day Amsterdam.
Totally.
Smoke shop, coffee shop here. Right in South Austin.
Yeah, absolutely. That place is
We're huge fans. And behind the scenes now we got Charles and Michael, Hex and Michael, filming each other, creating content for the virtual world. What we're doing. Shout out Wonderland platform making it all happen. Absolutely. So Gavin, let's go back to the beginning and let's recap our journey and let's go through the highlights and talk about what has actually brought us to this point. So honestly, if I were to ask you, Gavin, we kind of have a mantra for this trip, blazing the American dream.
Right.
And what does that mean for you? We've kind of been experiencing that.
So it started off in my mind what you said now.
Yeah.
So in my mind, Lazy the American was like trailblazing. New glass. But it wasn't just that. It was turns out the modern idea of a makeover. Kind of like some the aspects in like Phoenix, right? New glass and ideas and what did I miss? New we're opening people's minds and we're expanding their minds.
Wow, I think that's well said, Gavin. I completely agree. Originally, we were going to trailblaze a new path all the way to Austin. We were going to prospect and create content, glass, solidify relationships, meet new people, network, and it turns out that kind of morphed and adapted.
But that turned out to just be a piece of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that wasn't the main goal. It turns out it wasn't. It was like the people, all the locals we talked to, places we stopped by, shop everywhere. slowing down, enjoying the small things, but it was also about expanding our connections. It wasn't just about getting from A to B. It's reestablishing. It's lazy. It's like how tourist people learn back to peace so that they can go back.
I love the analogy. Blazing, and just as we embrace the plant, the marijuana plant, expand people's ideas and open sit there and change Austin all right. I'd say had a plan, packed up the van, we carefully chose a bunch of pieces to bring with us, and we get out of there. Yeah, we were right on time. Exactly. Yeah, but I would add that it wasn't just about picking the pieces. It was the whole for me. The journey started the week before. You were getting the glass. There's a lot of building. They said it. There was a lot of building. There was a lot of intentionality in the making of the glass specifically for this trip that for me was a part of the whole experience, curating a selection of glass that actually told the real story of our adaptability and creativeness and the expanse of the different product lines and different products. In 5 days of production, we moved through 4 different colors in the furnace. We tried to do as much singular and unique, one-of-a-kind pieces as we can, and so
No, we went above and beyond to prepare for it. Yeah, it went a lot more into just picking out the glass, for sure. It was designing it carefully,
yes,
considering the colors and choices that we made to do all this, and it honestly made
true.
everybody.
It's true. So we hit the road on Monday, over 2 weeks ago. We've been tripping our way all the way down to Austin.
Yeah, so we started. So once we left, though, right, gassed up, right, we're all gassed up, good to go. Take off, and long drive later, we make it to our first stop, which was,
I think it was Lake Sherman in Tahoe, 4 hours north of Las Vegas.
yep, Nevada, and it was a beautiful spot.
I think that was a great first night. That was a great first night, though.
Little cold first night, but good first night. It was beautiful. The stars were awesome.
Wild Mustangs, unexploded munitions.
Oh yeah, we were sleeping pretty much in an unexploded munitions area. So.
Beautiful sunset and an awesome live stream that we did on YouTube. There we had thousands of people that jumped in there. And,
Every great thing comes out of space.
so one of my favorite
Down a really hard dirt road, like really far, and you're like, look, and it just goes off forever. Mirage type shit. get out there, just kind of two bowls full of warm water. Right there, you hop in, you're like, yeah. And after sleeping in the desert for the first night, it felt pretty good to get a nice warm dip in the water before heading to Las Vegas.
I hope that's not our last hot spring before we get back. But then, that day we rolled into Las Vegas and we had a very we did.
We had to. We were on a mission to help out my bud base.
Yes.
Move her studio to her new studio. And it was honestly, it was really heartwarming to see her so happy and excited to see her new studio for the first couple of times, and like to move in and actually start to see it come together and her vision. She's a very visionary lady. She she looks at something and she knows what she wants, but as soon as she sees it, you can see that spark in her head. Like
absolutely,
so,
well said. Well said.
Awesome.
Yeah, big shout out to Doreen and Abby from my bud base.
Yep.
And we thugged it out for 2 days.
Straight thugged it out.
How many times do you think we loaded up that 27-foot box truck?
At least like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
6. I don't know, man.
Yeah, we put in the work. It was legit, and they were very grateful for our efforts, and I think that
so worth it.
one of my favorite things to do is actually what I consider like building goodwill with people, earning trust and building goodwill.
Oh yeah.
Following through with what we say we're gonna do, and just being kind-hearted and open-minded. And
we were all one team in that moment.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah,
it was worlds colliding, and it's like a unified, well-oiled
yeah. So that was 3 days in Vegas. Do you have anything you would add from our recreational activities in Las
Every
Vegas?
single night in Vegas, I couldn't help myself but to walk out and check out the scenery and explore the nightlife, and it was badass. I was having a blast in Vegas. I'm not a gambler, so I mean, I really, if you want to know my whole amount of money I gambled there was $7, and I threw it into a machine after walking around and playing my mind games with the casino. I'm walking around with a confident face, put it in, and I pulled out like 30-something bucks. Got myself a nice $20-something drink and then tipped the rest.
Walked away a winner.
Yeah, walked away a goddamn winner. I didn't lose shit. I bought a drink with it and tipped him. That's not losing.
My favorite part of Vegas, well, 2 favorite parts, but one is my best friend Ryan, and just reconnecting with him and the way his hospitality is showing us around. So I just want to say, I love Ryan. That was dope. But
yeah, I love Ryan too.
He's
He's
awesome.
awesome.
Ryan.
He's one bad.
He showed us the way. He showed us the way.
He knows his stuff.
But I got pretty fucked up that last night. Ate some mushroom chocolates, and we walked to the Sphere.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we had a pretty interesting conversation that whole time, and
Movies going hard.
and then just getting to experience the Sphere high as hell, and
Yeah,
the visuals there is really out of this world. I honestly would recommend that experience for anybody. Take a little shroom and then walk to the Sphere and just
get a little fear and loathing. It's
soak it all in. Soak it all in. Yeah. And then we left Las Vegas. We looked for a spot to camp. Do you remember where we ended up that night?
That night we ended up
Yeah, cheap hotel.
Yeah, cheap
We
hotel.
could not find the camping spot we wanted.
And they forgot our remote. Those bastards. I won't forget that.
I'm not sure that was that spot. We've had a couple
No,
cheap hotels.
That was the first one, because the next one they remembered the remote, but then they forgot something else.
I think that it was, if I'm being honest, I think the cheap hotel in Tucson was the one that didn't have remote.
Okay, no, you are right.
The one, our first cheap hotel south of the Grand Canyon.
That's right. It was the $30. That one was actually
That was nice. But let's go ahead and move to the Grand Canyon.
yeah. So we get to the Grand Canyon. And it ran. Beautiful views, and we decided to cut it out, hike down.
Yeah. We got below the rim, probably about a half a mile, and we had a bit of privacy, and we were able to have a little drink and have panoramic views.
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
it was excellent.
But so I mean, that whole part of that experience was real mind opener for me, mind expander for me. Embracing the herb there, and honestly, the sense of just being a part of something so much bigger than myself. And looking at the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, it's a nice.
You feel so small, but yet you feel like so embraced. Very unique experience. I equate very much to like standing on the edge of an ocean where there's big waves crashing against big rocks, and you're just like this one little tiny piece of sand.
My friend described it as the feeling of getting wanting to get sucked in. Like it wants to just, you know. I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
I had a fear of heights the whole time, just even looking off it. It was like, whoa, that is way too far. You know, I tripped back all out of Gonzo.
Oh yeah, absolutely. One wrong step, but yeah. So we did something extremely, I think, singular from the rim of the south rim of the Grand Canyon. A live sail where we packed
right on the ledge.
We packed 8 pieces in our backpack and made our way down the paths right to the edge of the south rim and set up a table and actually did a live sail from the rim of the Grand Canyon.
And people bought some bombs straight off the canyon.
They did. In fact, most all those pieces have sold now. Yeah,
Absolutely, because they're Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
So
And
come on,
if I can,
once in a lifetime.
if I can just kind of bring it back full circle, like for me, blazing the American dream, like that dream has to be supported in some way. And I mean, I just feel so fortunate and grateful that we can, as crafters, as artists, we can make our product and we can add bring value to our community with the entertainment and the education and the fact that we're willing and able to document and share that whole experience. And they're supporting us by purchasing this glass and just like boosting us along this way. So for me, like that was like a real.
You never dreamed to see your bomb at the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, right. And what's cool is that those community members, there was quite a few pieces that were purchased because, like, I heard in the comments, like, wow, it's just so cool that I'm gonna now own this piece that had visited the Grand Canyon and
Yeah, it's special.
the memories behind the videos that created selling it there and with just the backdrop. So it's like there's more than just, you know, a piece of glass or art. There's like this whole experience that's tied in with that. So
Yeah, it's cool that we get to be a part of that and make shit for everybody. You know, it's cool. And so from the Grand Canyon, we moved onward.
Yeah.
To greener pastures.
Well,
Or drier pastures.
yeah.
Probably drier pastures.
Well, Sedona Desert was that night.
It was Scorpion Hill.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's where we found our squirt buddies. Indeed. Looked over a rock, smack dab, there was a little buddy there. Yeah, just doing this little thing. Scorpion guy. Yeah, so I mean, right in the eye with all 8 of them. Yeah, some awesome nights camping, honestly. We looked at him. In fact, we filmed it.
Dude, he was like, he understood I was that tall. He was like, I'm gonna get you, man.
So there was like eye contact.
Yeah,
There was like 8 of his little eyes and your 2 little eyes, and there was an there was an understanding there.
totally.
So we had a significant destination after that, Phoenix. Yeah, we had users, cannabis activists, the Canna crew, repping the Phoenix area and just
Shout out to Bongfather and the Canna.
yeah. Big shout out. So they went to spots. Well, yeah, not as cool as this place. Let's be honest.
No, it was a little bit more dark and spookier.
Yeah,
It was a vibe on its own.
it was
had
a
its own
smoking
unique vibe.
They were doing the best they can for their laws in the Phoenix area, and that community ran out of space. And I'll just say, off the top of my head, that walking into the room and seeing a dozen people that own Special K Glass, so here we are, like 1,500 miles from home, and there's this entire community that has supported us and created this event for us and brought their glass from their homes, share with us. Pride, brought his 4-footer, and
They're all ripping each other's special games.
yeah,
It was magical.
that was sick. Yeah, we did take an autonomous driving car way home there. That was a new experience for us. I would say that be careful. It felt like right out of a 1980s movie. Like felt like where I watched a Total Recall or like Judge Dredd or something from the era where there was like robots driving cars. You're like, no way. But we are literally nobody behind the wheel, and they took us to that event. So that was fun. Yeah, that was fun. And then we dropped on down to Tucson. I got to see one of my daughter's best friend, who's a part of the family. We had a nice dinner. But before that, so quick shout out to the Sunset Gallery in Tucson, and the Hippie Gypsy Tucson. Picked up nice wholesalers.
Oh yeah.
And that was actually really part of the trailblazing and the prospect and the creating of the goodwill and solidifying of the relationships with these businesses move us forward the next 25 years. Like locking that in and meeting these people from Aspen at Sunset Gallery. Like, oh my God, that business. Woo, they had just wrapped up a 4-day workshop with Yushin. It's really what they do. Like, this is a fine art gallery, and they have workshops, and they have event space, beautiful backyard space with a water feature, and then this entire glass blowing studio that supports just a plethora of different artists throughout the year. But then they bring in these big names and people from all over the country come and they take these classes and these workshops. And the owner, Aspen, like really embraced our work, and he was just it felt very satisfying knowing that our work is different as it is from our shop, embraced by their community and locked on.
Oh, that's important. And it was really cool that they were so of our bonds and loved
us and our bosses so much. It was like, wow, getting greeted with the open arms. Yeah, I love it. It was so with Tucson, we passed through El Paso, and then you had this idea for the border patrol stop. Oh, yeah. How'd that go? Thought we were going to spoof it. Turns out that they didn't like us or spoofing us. And they asked us over to search. Yeah. We got pulled over. We got our van searched. We had canine dog sniffers. Everything in the van smelled like marijuana. But they believed us maybe that we didn't actually have the marijuana, but that they thought that our bongs were dirty and soiled and smelled like marijuana. Maybe that's what the dog. That's what the dog told them. So as we were about to make our excuses and try to talk our way out of it, he's like, cuts me off, and he's like, "Well, we don't really care because you guys are free to go, but just know that you guys reek like marijuana." It's like we're from Oregon, man. It's kind of supposed to reek like that. Yeah. We don't reek like weed. Even his glass looked like, what are we doing? Yeah. So they were doing their job, and I have no hard feelings for that border patrol, even though they did try to intimidate us. They're just doing their job. Yeah. But I did enjoy. We did spoof it. We had. I would definitely encourage everyone to check out our spoof video because there's a little bit of we did a border situation. They were the border patrol, we were the bong patrol. Damn it. We made damn sure everybody in the van had their bongs and was getting high, right? Yeah, totally. It was a total rehearsal. Otherwise, we're gonna pull their ass up. Yeah. It's like, get out of here and smoke this bowl with me. Right. Get your mind right. Instead of them outfitting smell like we were smoking. In fact, they for the bong patrol, they wanted us. Yes, they did. So that night for me, Gavin, was actually pretty fun. Up in the Texas desert, we rolled in last minute next to a state park that was closed, so we took an off road. It was good. It was fun. It was good. We made the best of every situation. And now we just roll into to the next nearby town, and that's when we get cowboyed up, right? That's right. Johnson City, Texas. Big shout out to Johnson City, Texas. Hell yeah. Yeah, we ran into this mom and pop thrift store, grandma and granddaughter shop. And at that point, we felt like it was going to be necessary for us to kind of fit in. We were like, we look like a couple of in cities. So we're like, we got to change that real quick. Yeah, we don't want your song get the wrong idea. So we ended up going to their thrift store and picking up a couple of clothing items. I picked up a pair of boots. Chris here got a grand old Opry. I got a little baseball cap that allowed me to fit in a little bit. Totally. Yeah. No more profiling. No more profiling. For us. They got me a nice button out, Yeah. I have to say though, no matter how I dress up or what kind of boots or jeans or hats I wear, like I am never gonna be really what it takes to identify as cowboy Texas. Like they're gonna look at anybody that's gonna look at me and say that pretty good, man, and you I think you would fit right in with your outfit there and with your totally your whole being, and you have some roots from Texas. You have some DNA down here, right? My dad was from West Texas. I'm the drill yeah. He was a roughneck and derelict and stuff. So yeah, he did all. You grew up with those stories, and you had. But that was back in the day, Texas. This is modern. Different Texas. That was spooky times. I mean, not to say that there aren't spooky times everywhere. Not those spooky times. We got something. Thank God for self. And so then we rolled into Austin.
Yep, we rolled into Austin.
Final destination, I would say.
Yeah, we rolled into our maiden land, and we instantly felt right at home. Instantly, because it was like we realized these are our people.
Yeah,
these guys have direct Portlandia type roots, because there's a lot of, even their slogan is the same. We keep Austin weird, keep Portland weird. I mean, come on.
yeah.
It's its own thing.
Separates the different communities there. The Colorado River cuts right through Austin in just the same way as Portland.
Super.
This like green belt here is, I would consider it a green belt. All of Oregon is green. But here, like, we go from desert and we roll in, and there's a beautiful valley.
There's trees.
Fed by the Colorado River and all these little tributaries.
Pecan farms.
Yep. Yeah, so for sure, we are right at home. We've been embraced already from this awesome community. I'm super excited to get to here and just kind of what's happened here at Lazy Daze today. But let's give a quick shout out to Geronimo, the Texas Music River Ranch.
Yep, the Texas Music River Ranch.
So
those guys are the #1 spot to go if you're coming up towards Austin.
Yes, yes. We were instantly made to feel right at home. Yep. Big shout out to Dapper, for Hex, and for Mike, just coordinating with the ranch, with us, being there when we arrived, and just making us feel right at home.
Yeah, I mean, they really took a whole lot of initiative and really came through for us and showed us nothing but hospitality since we've been here. So we couldn't ask for any, even friends. I mean, what more could you ask for? It's amazing.
We couldn't ask for anything better.
Totally. And I even got to jam out a little bit, to where the point I got a nice blister on my finger. So, I was playing hard.
Yeah.
It's
super cool because they definitely live up the name Music River Ranch. They have a music studio there. Geronimo, the owner, does his own movies and music, and Justin on the keyboard. So that was great. So
they're excellent. And Geronimo does so much for the community. He does like a lot of cool things, like he guitars, he picks them up and stuff, and gives them, donates them to kids, right? He's a real guy. He's a community, people, and he looks out for everybody around him. He can't ask for anybody more humble and
2 days becoming familiarized, getting the lay of the land here in Austin. We wanted to make sure that we knew where and when to be and how to, because we're vending here, but it's unofficial. Growing up, I was called guerrilla style vending, where you just kind of, there's no permits, there's no permission, but you base it off what you're doing off of a community standard, what is accepted. And if I'm speaking off the top of my head, when I'm thinking about South by Southwest, that is kind of the spirit of this entire art and music festival, is street performers, people working outside of the construct, and the festival are musicians that just
all the musicians we've heard are like top notch.
for sure. And quite often, people come
here, and what goes on here is actually what becomes the next big thing. You know, I've heard that expression, and I feel like for us, like that's kind of why we're here too.
It's a very trendy city. Yeah, lots of trends happen. A lot of really major people come through. It's a hot spot for good things.
Yeah,
I think there's so much to do in the city.
we've been, for me personally, like I've been in the Northwest for 26 years. We've expanded our reach, and we are a national company based on our social media and just how often we go live and what we're willing to share online.
And
But-
ship to.
Yeah, but in person, as far as like traveling and actually networking, is for that type of marketing or and so this is for me honestly you know, kind of outside of my normal MO, outside of maybe what I would consider my comfort zone. Business was called the Seattle Hemp Fest, and that, you know, that's where I got my chops in vending. That's where we had our first like 10,000 weekend sales day, and you know, there was just so much that I learned from there, and so many pulling effects from the people that I met there and the connections I've made to Seattle Fest. And so just to be able to kind of like parlay that experience into South by here, I just is, you know, definitely like, you know, what is happening for me and for this business right now is trying to bring that energy that we've been cooking with up there in the Northwest down here to the heart of Texas.
Right. And speaking of which, they're going to have Texas hemp stock at the Texas River Music Ranch.
Yeah.
And it's
Memorial Day in 2 months.
Memorial Day in 2 months. It's really cool that they're doing that. I just wanted to mention
That's true. Seattle Hemp Fest. This is
Hemp
like
Fest.
so the hemp stock in Portland and Seattle Hemp Fest are now COVID just unfortunately kind of killed us. So it takes a real people with real vision and real desire to advocate for the plant and for the legality and just, you know, the normalization. It like takes really solid, forward-thinking, progressive-minded individuals that are willing to give a lot, because there's not a lot of financial reward and things like that, but it's a community-driven kind of thing. So mad respect for those people and that work.
And these 5 years, I'm going to be doing it for at least 5 years in this location, or at that location specifically. So they really locked it down.
We can't make it in person for that one, but we will be back for some future events there.
I think maybe make shoot whatever, you know, we can do whatever we can to try to coming up here, we found that a lot of people want to flash up this direction, and sometimes they want to put in an order, and sometimes it's like not at the moment because they just did orders, right? So kind of like really going in there, right?
Business side of things.
Totally. So, if we, you know, we schedule everything in one nice good swoop. We just drop off glass down all the way to there, and then we've been there. It's really profitable and beneficial for all communities to try to at least make one future hemp stock in the future.
Definitely important to be a part of that movement and a part of that whole experience that we're building here.
Totally.
Yeah. And we can bring our own Pacific Northwest energy and vibe to that too. So
We got 5 years to plan to do a whole another one, at least at that location. So lots of things.
okay, so speaking of business to business, there was a couple stores here in the Austin area, smoking burnouts. They were actually a catalyst for us coming down here because they were the first to message us and say, yeah, we'd love to see you with a wholesale order. Come up through when you're in town. So I was like, lock that in. I knew we would make it. There's been so many other like beneficial things that have happened along the way. But for me, I always need something to kind of anchor the trip. Like this is locked in, this is solid. So shout out to Smoking Burnouts. They picked up a nice selection. They have 6 locations here throughout Austin. We met the owner Travis. He came in to meet us personally. They really actually have an excellent like pre-roll business, wholesale distribution they do, and also gummies. Mind's Eye is a really popular brand here. All the stores. So shout out to them. And then last night we went and visited the Cosmic Cowboy. A couple brothers there, Chris and Brian. 2 brothers. What a amazing family-owned business. Their parents, I think I can say, the parents took from their 401k, invested in their sons to start a head shop. For 9 years, they've been building and super refreshing and inspiring to hear that there is a old school head shop art gallery that is actually thriving in this market now, in this landscape that we have, selling glass. Kind of rare. Overall, glass sales are kind of down. Part of the resurgence. Big shop in every corner. You're gonna find these clear tubes, super cheap, imported from all over the world, which is fine. Right. But it's kind of pushed a lot of us artists out a little bit. Yeah. I know for a fact that a lot of glass blowers are kind of struggling because the sales aren't what they were. And so just to be able to see a local business that has budget, that has capacity, and has the need for him. And Cosmic Cowboy is exclusively locally made products. American made products. So like, major shout out to those guys.
For real.
So Gavin, final part of our live here. We're here at Lazy Daze. Maybe not the final. We've had this South by Southwest is really incredible. We did 6th Street Congress. We've actually walked around there. We did some street vending, but the build up is still happening. So there's more to come. I think there's more to come with South by. So we'll save that for later. But here we are at Lazy Daze Coffee Shop. We've got our glass displayed throughout the entire shop, on every counter, every table. We have pieces for people to use on the table. There's going to be giveaways here. We have frozen ice with our in-person sales. We have probably a half a dozen direct to consumer sales right here. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, Lazy Daze is awesome. But I did go to move on, Gavin, because a big part of this experience, the connections that I've made on X, my desire to adapt and learn about some new technologies, AR, VR, metaverses. This entire trip actually was inspired by those relationships that were made on X with a bunch of nerds that invited us down here, that are networkers, connectors, and so I'm kind of an old head. A lot of that stuff I'm really trying to grasp and understand. I want to be open-minded, and I'm slow to pick up on a lot of those things, but I was kind of overhearing you were having a nice conversation with Charles Hex earlier about the AR and kind of your interpretation of kind of what they're doing. So do you think maybe you could tell me a little bit about your guys' conversation earlier and just what the potential is for this technology, what you see happening with it, and how we can adapt it?
It's really interesting. So there's Pokemon Go and their thing of how they collect info on
street locations, like like satellite images, right? Because people visit these locations and they get really close. So it's a great way for them to track, right, and visually map all the streets and stuff. But you're doing that for free through Pokemon. But what Charles Hex here does is he does that on its own open source type of website called, what's it called again?
Over the Reality.
Over the Reality.
And Spheroid.
It's really badass. And you use your phone and you do locations. You can scan locations and they'll give you that, so you can get paid to do it. They'll take those images and they'll make AR like art things there, right? Like dancing art, or like they'll take assets or like images or three-dimensional images or whatever, and they'll put them into these AR systems. A really cool AR experience that shares with the community and promotes AR usage, and it's really cool. It's like a community-driven open source thing for meetups, and people kind of add in their own thing, right? It's like a graffiti wall that anybody can add to, right? Like I can add my little tag on there, or somebody else can add their tag, or I can just drop a meme on there. It's really cool. It's kind of like a graffiti thing, right? It's an art thing. It's not like direct communication, but it is direct communication too, because there's chats and networks for the people to connect on and share their thoughts and ideas.
So let me ask you, Gavin, for a small business like ours that is grounded in real world objects and art and craft, the lifeblood of our business is sales to community, business to business.
How can we utilize this?
Yeah, how do you see that? How do you see us adapting this?
We could even jump into these spaces and do our own scans of our shop or area, and we can have our own special K AR experience, right? Where we can have our own QR codes. And you can visit our website and Excel box. So it's really cool. You can use it as a marketing place. You can use it as a place for your community to add in their own art or pictures of bongs. Like you could have the art gallery pretty much like a wall, like 2 walls of just pictures of people posting their bong pictures and sharing them. And other people can see that with smoking videos. Yeah, like that. And play the video.
Sounds pretty sick.
It's super sick, and it's very it expanded my mind a lot. I didn't know how it was used. I think I kind of have a better idea now.
I'm glad to hear it. Maybe you can help educate me on the way. We've got a few more days down here, so
yeah, we do.
I'm looking forward to learning more. I think that's about it for me, Gavin.
Yeah, same here.
That was a nice week.
Yeah, totally. I think we touched all the topics, and there's a lot more to come. There's a lot more. We got a long road ahead. Just as much as we drove here, we got to drive back. So
yeah, this is not our last. This is not our last interview.
Totally.
So stay tuned, you guys. Thank you for watching. Thanks, Hex. Amazing job with the camera and the stream and the feed. I feel like we're coming through loud and clear, and we had a story to tell.
Yeah,
and
I hope people listen.
We put it out there.
Totally.
All right.
All right.
Peace out.
Peace out.